All right, we're going.
Okay. Okay. The story I want to tell you is important because it describes a conflict where little communication or the wrong type of communication caused a conflict between me and my best friend of 10 years. My name is Ronisha Archie, and I'm currently an Info to Communication student at UALR. And by submitting this assignment, I acknowledge that this work is completely my own. Um, Today, I'm going to tell you about a conflict between my best friend Mariah and I, which was the result of an inappropriate comment from her boyfriend Mark. In a short moment, I'm going to tell you a short story about how the conflict came about. Okay, first, I'm going to tell you about the people who were involved in the conflict and about the setting. This happened about 10 years ago at my best friend Mariah's house in her room. Um, like I said, it involves Mariah, me, and her boyfriend. Okay, moving on. There's a communication principle um, and two communication concepts connected to my story, but I'm going to give you a little background about my case. So one day, 10 years ago, I was visiting Mariah and her boyfriend Mark and I, and she was sitting on the bed too in her room, and we was laughing, having a little fun, enjoying a movie. And all of a sudden, her boyfriend blurted out, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a threesome?" And I was like, "What? Wow!" So I looked at my best friend and I was like, "That comment was totally inappropriate. Like, why would he say anything like that?" And I looked at her and she was like, well, he was just joking because she saw I was so uncomfortable and it was just took me by surprise. Okay. So moving on, I told Mariah that, I'd rather not be around her or her boyfriend anymore due to what he said. And I told her that, this is not us not being friends. I just don't feel comfortable around him anymore. And I'd rather, just hang out with you and you only. Okay. So, okay, we're going to move on to the communication principle. Okay, the communication principle and concept, I feel like can help you, impact your relationships and, your interpersonal relationships with your friends or anyone is communicate to behaviors are learnable. The reason why I say this is according to you, AR Survival Guide, communicate to behaviors are learnable. This is through the process of communication. It is constant and inevitable. The behaviors used in the process are not. Thus, you can learn to communicate in particular ways that will positively or negatively impact a situation. A student who gives an ineffective speech and a student who gives a great one. This was found on page 17. Okay, moving on again. The first communication concept was sexual conflict, and according to Minnesota Library published in 2019, sexual conflict can result when a couple disagrees over frequency or type of sexual activities. This was found on page 353. And it also included, according to Minnesota Library published in 2019, sexual conflict can also result from jealousy. If one person believes their partner is focusing on, sexual thoughts outside of the relationship, and that's found on page 353. The second communication concept was dispositional attribution. And according to Minnesota Library published in 2019, dispositional attribution is referred to as making a dispositional attribution that connects the cause of disclosure to her personality by thinking, like, for example, that she is outgoing, inappropriate for the workplace, or fishing for information. And that was found on page 319. Okay, moving on. Based on my experience, I can use communication concepts and ethical implications to improve my communication and help improve my interpersonal relationships. You can use my experience to, see where I went wrong and where she went wrong, and you won't make the same mistake. One communication concept that I could use to improve my communication would be compromising. The definition to compromise, according to Minnesota Library published in 2019, is showing like a moderate concern for self and other and may indicate that there is a low investment in the conflict and or the relationship. And that was on page 294. An ethical implication I can use to improve my interpersonal relationship is responsibility. The definition, according to UALR Survivor Guide 2019-2020, is holding ourselves accountable for our choices, actions, and communication with others. And this was found on page 19 in the Survivor Guide. Okay, moving on. Today, I told you about a conflict between me and my best friend, Mariah. I told you how this conflict came about because of the type of communication and the lack of communication. I gave you the case background, the analysis, and the recommendations, and a reflection. And I realized that the way we communicate and the way we choose to not communicate makes a difference on how some situations can turn out, whether in a friendship or by, mending that friendship. The way we communicate can resolve or create a conflict.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'll give you. All right. See what your time. Hurry up. Of course, about partway into your speech, that's when about the time my plumber showed up. And I'm like, my husband's out in the backyard. Go find him. But good job. Good job. I will send this to you tomorrow or maybe tonight. Maybe I'll take pictures of it and then you can decide. So I think you did a great job. I don't think you need to redo it. So
Okay.
Whew, so breathe.
Yeah.
Good job. All right. Let me get out of that. Let's go back. So let me stop the recording.